All right, I'll do the intro. I'm
Yeah.
just fucking around.
Okay.
You should have just left it at that.
Do you need a countdown from the secondary master of countdowns?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. You can go on one. Okay. Yeah, not on three, on one. Kind of crazy like that. Okay. 3, 2, 1, action.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Making Time with the Boys. I'm Evan. This is my friend Zach,
What's good?
and today we have a special guest. Our friend Aaron has joined us.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Evan, we're making time for a boy on making time for the boys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's what this podcast was made for.
Yeah,
ultimately.
it's made to make time for the boys, and I appreciate all the people out there making time for these boys today.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
all
saying?
10 people. We appreciate you. 5, probably.
You know, the people who know us, and maybe a couple extended people past that, but you know, they're enjoying it. They're having a good time.
The one random guy from like Minnesota who happened to just like
Stumble
come across
upon
your
it.
videos.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
looking for
Making time for you, bud.
yeah, he was looking for some other boys
Like
video.
discovering
He was looking
it's
for
like discovering a buried treasure.
exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
He was probably looking for a for a online copy of Cuties that he couldn't find.
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah, he looked for
I think
cuties, but found these
boys.
cuties. Ooh,
Oh, whoo,
yeah, I know.
Zach.
I know. Now, you know,
gonna make me blush.
we were gonna start with an out of this world topic today, but I feel like we're doing a disservice to people if we don't start by at least talking a little bit about the PS5 and the PS5 reveal.
Yeah.
Because Evan, I mean, you're like the Dark Souls fan. So did you see the Demon Souls
Yeah.
trailer?
I saw literally nothing else from the PS5 thing except for that Demon Souls trailer, and I gotta say that I'm so excited. I cannot wait.
Dude, it looks so good.
It looks so good.
Amazing.
I've heard, and I'm excited to play it because I've heard from people who've played the entire series that some consider that the best one. Like that's their favorite.
Yeah, a lot
one.
of people.
I didn't know that.
So, oh yeah, dude, Demon Souls is still like it's the first one, and it's not as popular as Dark Souls, but
Yeah.
it definitely has something special about it.
Is that just like a product of the fact that it was like was it a PS3 game, early PS3 game?
I believe so. I think it was just PS3. I don't know if it was for Xbox as well.
I gotta say, I'm not like a big fan of those games just because I'm not very good at them. But it looks so good that I almost feel like I have to get it.
Oh, Zach, please.
Yeah. And I wasn't going to get any of the next gen consoles at all, just because I've moved to PC and everything. But just seeing that trailer it's really enticing. I mean, it's such a good trailer.
Yeah, I mean, I mainly
amazing.
like the big thing for me was the new Spider-Man game. Like, even though there's going to be a PS4 release of that, like playing that on the next gen is just going to be amazing because I loved the first Marvel Spider-Man game so much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that
looked good too. Yeah.
I didn't see
And then
that though.
oh, go ahead.
But the first game was really great. It was like the thing that was shocked me about the first game was how good the story was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty great.
Well, I think it's because, they were willing to push that boundary with, I mean, spoilers for anyone who hasn't played, but like the Aunt May death at the very end.
Yeah.
Like I don't think enough Spider-Man stuff has toyed with that idea, at least in the like movies or game sphere. So to actually, have something like that happen was a big deal. And I think really kind of is the home run, because before that it was like a triple play, a really good at bat, but then it hits the home run with Aunt May at the end.
Yeah. Well, the comics literally even backed away from the Aunt May death thing, if I remember correctly. Like they just brought her back to life immediately.
I mean, that's just like a problem with comics, honestly. It's like we can't commit to a character death because too many people are gonna, be whatever way about it.
But you could at least commit for like, I don't know, a year at least.
Right.
Because that's kind of how it would probably work, is that like you do a thing for a while, like it's a phase, and then bring them back, like, I don't know, a few years later when it's special.
That's what they should do. I mean, they reboot anyways all the
Right.
time. So
Right, exactly. Like they restart the universe like a dozen times, so they can like
yeah,
deal with some change for a bit.
it's a very, very interesting thing about the comic book industry, though, is how, there's just certain things they cannot do or they just won't do. Like specifically with Spider-Man, though, just because
Mhm.
it's such a big seller, they will
Yeah.
not do certain things. It's kind of
But,
interesting, but it
you
also
know,
sucks, honestly.
it's just like every little kid you talk to is going to say, "Oh, Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, most likely." So it's
Right.
like, "Oh,
Oh yeah.
we can't tarnish this brand. We have to keep it on schedule."
Mm.
But
Yeah.
with getting back to the PS5 event just for like a second here, I think the biggest thing for the PS5 that it has going for it on release is the fact that, and Evan, I don't know if you saw this, but they're going to have a collection of like 12 or 13 of the
Yes.
best PS4 games that are just free to play for PlayStation Plus members
Dude,
on
are you saying
release.
if I get a you're
Yeah,
saying
it's
if I get a
awesome.
PS5, I can play Knack 2
You can
immediately?
play. Listen, I didn't want to say it out loud because I didn't want people to get too excited, but I mean, and both Knack games, okay?
Dude, god
For real.
damn. I've told you how much I love Knack, guys. I loved Knack before Donkey loved Knack,
Uh,
man.
Evan did it
oh
first.
wow, that's a bold claim. But yeah, and that's obviously their like direct response to Xbox Game Pass, which
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
the Game Pass is more like expansive and probably like better, but I mean it still doesn't have the games that PlayStation
Right.
has,
Right. Well, I mean,
and
you look
it's
at
a
the
good thing. Just
fact.
in general. I mean, you get it you get it basically for free because I mean, if you have a PlayStation 5, you're gonna have PS Plus. I mean,
Yeah.
so
Well, I
you
mean,
basically are just getting them for free, and like that's awesome. And if you haven't played them, I mean, there you go. That's awesome.
you look at the selection of games. We're talking Uncharted 4, Persona 5, The Last of Us,
What?
God of War, like right there, and I
Yeah,
think Marvel's Spider-Man, like right there. You have a ton of
yeah.
They're
hours built
giving
up.
away Persona 5?
Yeah, you just
Is
get
it
it.
the original or Royale?
It's the
Is it
original.
Royale?
It's the original.
Okay, well that's eh.
I mean,
But still that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Evan was about
it's
to
great.
be
I
both
mean,
upset and extremely excited at the same time.
yeah, that's what just
I
happened.
yeah.
Oh man.
That's pretty sick though.
Yeah, and like, I think when you look at the fact that Xbox has really messed up their approach
Oh
with
yeah.
this, especially with like they have Halo, the biggest Xbox franchise. There's
Kneecapped.
like no debate there. And then
Mm,
you open it up with a real dud for the gameplay showcase, and then you also push it back to way
mm.
after release.
Yeah.
That was just. I wonder what's going on behind the scenes at 343, where like I mean, it's already been in development for like 5 years, I think, and they've made their own engine for this game, and then it's, I mean, this was planned for their console launch for years and years, and they still weren't able to like get it there. I mean, I'm just really curious what's going on behind the
Here's
scenes. It makes me worried too, but
here's my
I guess I. Oh, go ahead.
here's my prediction. Probably a fucking dumpster fire. Going
Yeah,
on behind the
yeah.
scenes.
I
Well,
think you're right about that for sure.
it's like the meme that came out of the showcase where you just have the like Halo 3 looking. I don't know the character, like the enemies in Halo, but the Halo 3-esque enemy you see in the trailer that just looks awful.
Oh, the brute.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Yeah.
Well, I've seen lots of comparisons between Halo 3 and I believe the new Halo they showcased, and
Yeah.
Halo 3 ends up looking better in a lot
It
of
does
cases.
look better. Yeah.
Uh,
it does
I think
look better.
I think we talked about this before, Aaron. I think it's partly because it's not because obviously Halo Infinite probably has more processing power, but Halo 3 has just better design in terms of
It has better. Yeah.
like how to make it look good.
Yeah. Better and a better art style.
Right,
in
right,
general.
right. So
I
even
think
the enemies look better.
I think that's been my biggest regret with my commitment to PlayStation so much is that I never really got to play the Halo games. Because every time I
Right.
would come over to your house, Evan, and play any like smidge of Halo, I would love it because they're really good. It's a fact.
I mean,
But
listen, it's go on, go on.
I was just gonna say that like because I've been so committed to PlayStation, it's just, other than my slight foray into kind of what it's like when I got to play Destiny, which it wasn't even really what Halo is. I mean, it
Yeah,
was,
Yeah,
yeah,
Destiny's
I
such a far
missed it.
cry.
for sure.
Destiny's a good in its own right, but it's such a far cry as like what Halo was.
Yeah, definitely. And, it's just it does make me as happy as I am, you know, with the PlayStation. I'm just equally as disappointed with Xbox because this has been 2 console generations now where it seems like, I mean, this one's better than the Xbox One for sure because they really dropped the ball on the Xbox One. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember the backlash from that announcement. I mean, it was really bad, but now it's like they bounce back, but they're still kind of stuck in their old ways, it seems. I mean, at least we have PlayStation, who is just continuously knocking it out of the park, just over and over
Right.
with all of their exclusives. It's like they're I don't know. That makes me really happy though. So
I feel like I feel like I preferred it though when they were kind of like more so rivals, because it kind of seems like
Right.
Sony's just kicking Microsoft's ass right now.
yeah,
I'd rather it be more like an even like, oh man, what's
equal.
Microsoft gonna do? Oh man, what's PlayStation gonna do? I mean, that's exciting because now
I
it's more
agree with
like,
that. Yeah.
how is Sony going to just absolutely curb stomp Microsoft today?
Well,
It's
Oh,
scary.
I think what one of the problems with moving between generations is that Sony learned from its mistakes with how they launched the PS3, because the PS3 launch
Yes.
was one of by far the weirdest console launches of all time, especially
Yeah.
because their ads were so terrible.
that's the baby ad, right?
Yeah, the baby ad. Like, who's gonna see that and be like,
Oh my
"Man,
God, I
I
forgot about that.
need a PS3 right now."
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, I guess I was. I did love the PlayStation 3, but
Oh
you're
yeah.
right. Yeah, totally right. Totally right.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
it was,
like,
Bad launch.
yeah.
Terrible launch.
it was by pure luck that I didn't get a PS3, to be honest. I didn't really choose. It was more like, which console should I get? Oh, that's cheaper, I suppose. I got the Xbox, but I'm glad I did because I got Halo Reach, and
Oh yeah.
that was fucking amazing.
The main plus for me with getting the PS3 was I found one of my favorite gaming franchises of all time, which is the Uncharted series. Because if I had never picked up the PS3, I wouldn't know the magic of Uncharted.
Mm.
Yeah, fair
So,
enough. Fair enough.
but really, it's the fact that Sony learned from such a bad launch with the PS3, and then with the PS4, everything they had done wrong before, they did right. Because all
Yeah.
their ads were focusing on, we have this exclusive and this exclusive and this exclusive, and like, why would you choose anything else when we have all these games? And I think going into the Xbox One, Microsoft was just like, well, what we did with the 360 worked, so let's just try that again.
then they
I
then they just buried their exclusive games though. I mean, they're all just they've gone so far downhill, all of them. I
Yeah.
can't really think. Maybe Forza is the only one that's really still consistently
Right.
good.
But
I mean, I'm not
not to
really familiar, but
disrespect the people who make racing games or things like that, but like, I don't think it's hard to make a good racing game. You know.
yeah,
damn.
I guess you're right about that.
You're probably right.
On it, you're probably, yeah.
I feel like though, maybe I feel like Microsoft's maybe just trying to figure out how to compete in the market now, because like I get the feeling they might be giving up on getting on the exclusive game because like
No, they have, yeah,
it's been
Yeah.
shit for so
and
long.
they've given up on. Well, I feel like they're not worrying as much about their console sales, and they're
Hmm.
worrying more about selling games and selling Game Pass because you can get Game
Right.
Pass on PC, and it is a good deal, and you can get all their games on PC too. So it's like I think
Right.
they're more worried about like selling all these
Yeah.
games and having this consistent income with their subscription services,
Right.
Well,
and
you can.
because I think they knew that you know
PS4 was not going
it's
to be
pretty
beaten
fair to say.
on a console.
Yeah, it's pretty fair to say that the PlayStation was probably gonna do pretty well coming into this generation. So they
Right.
were like, well, we're gonna have to do this new sort of thing to make money, and
Sort of
I don't know how that's
diversify
gonna
a bit.
Yeah, right.
You know, I
In
think
the short term, it's definitely not doing the best, but we'll see. Maybe it will pay off in the long term. Who
Yeah.
knows?
well, I
Maybe.
think Microsoft's looking to the future because the future of gaming, no matter what you argue, is moving to PC. Like that's just a fact.
Oh
And
yeah.
the question is Microsoft moving towards the future too soon? Because I mean, I
Hmm.
think we're still in a sweet spot right now for to market to both console gamers and PC gamers, and there will come a point where that shift inevitably happens, but I don't think we're there yet. And that's I think the main problem with Microsoft right now is that maybe they're moving too quickly to the future. Because you look at like the Dreamcast. Was it the Dreamcast that failed for Sega, or was it what? But
I believe it
they had
was.
a
I mean, it was this.
VR. Um,
I'm
I
gonna
can't
hedge
think.
my bets and say they probably both tanked.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
But it's the same
Wasn't
kind of
the
thing, you know, where they
yeah.
moved to the future too quickly. And I mean, eventually they were proven right that this is where things are going. But I think maybe they're just jumping ship too early on the console
Yeah,
generation.
Yeah,
Sonic
that might.
Adventure was just a bit too advanced for some people.
It's just a little too advanced. I think it's really that's probably true. Yeah, but also, they were getting stomped so hard by PlayStation in this last generation, and they had to have known like, well, we don't have games. I mean, what do they have even now? They've announced everything they have, and they really don't have anything at all. So they're like, we got
Except
to
for like
do all this
fake.
other stuff. We got to make a console that's $300. It's not as
Right.
powerful, but it's like these are the incentives. Oh, you can subscribe and get all these games, and
Right.
it's great. I'm
Accessibility is their thing
it
now.
it feels right, exactly, and it kind of feels like I don't know. I'm worried for them because, like, let's say they fail this generation, which Sony just seems like they're gonna dominate again. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's like, what happens? I mean, is Xbox how how worried is Xbox about all this? I don't know.
They seem to be nonchalant about it. Like
Yeah.
even on their Twitter, I've seen some pictures of their like Twitter account saying like, "Hey, if you want to go buy a PS5, go for it, man. I don't give a fuck."
What? They did not say that.
They
Hell
they
yeah,
kind of
man.
have said things like that.
What?
Yeah.
Their Twitter account because like they're the tweets saying like, "Man, I've been an Xbox guy for so long, but I think I'm just gonna have to go PS5, for this and that reason." And the Xbox Twitter account's like, "Hey, man, that's cool. As long as you're having fun, that's what we're all about. Maybe give us a try next time." Like
Yeah.
Right.
shit like that.
I feel like maybe they shouldn't be saying that.
It's like peace and love and shit.
I think it's almost like they don't want to play into the console wars anymore. Like they're so
Yeah.
far
Right.
disenchanted with the idea of beating Sony
Maybe
that
they
it's just
should.
like, well, you do what you want to do. If you want to choose
I've just
PS4 over Microsoft, that's a good choice.
I, yeah. I don't. What would be a reason that you would choose Xbox over PlayStation this generation? Like, what would be? What is it? Like, I
I
don't
Dude,
get it.
mean,
fate?
honestly, the
Come
Yeah.
on, man.
Maybe. I mean, maybe if you're just a huge Fate
I
fan, that'd be the only real thing. I
I
mean,
guess so. But that game hasn't had a sequel in like what? How many years?
mini.
People
It's been a
yeah.
while. Yeah.
Still Fate fans at this
And
point.
Fate 3 was bad. So.
That's yeah.
Well, at this point, it's less of a conversation of Xbox or PlayStation as much as it is, are you playing PlayStation or are you moving to PC?
Hmm.
Really. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good point. Because you go to PC. If you're like saying, if you're the type of guy who's like, I'm kind of done with console stuff, just gonna go to PC. Microsoft's pretty appealing to you.
Oh
Got a
yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
games because I have the Game Pass and they have quite a selection on there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For
So you have
that
the game.
period.
You have the Game Pass.
Yeah, they got some bangers on there.
Awesome. Yeah. Definitely.
And I think that's something that maybe if Sony has one thing they need to get better at with PS5, it's their like perks with PS Plus because giving us like the 12 or 13 free games is a really nice start. But you look at like the free games PlayStation hands out monthly, and honestly, a lot of those are kind of duds.
They're
Like,
bad. Yeah.
I mean, I think I have gotten good games. I mean, I have Towerfall Ascension, which I mean, for the three of us is like one of our favorite games to play whenever we're all together. And then also I've gotten like Detroit Become Human and a couple other good games. But most months I get on there and I'm like, well, I guess I'll save it to my library because it's free, but I'm never going to play this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting though, because like being that I do play on PC, you know, I'm not getting an Xbox because why would I do that? But it's also I feel like I'm way more likely to actually buy games from Microsoft this time around because I can just do it on PC, and I probably will. Like, so you know, that's kind of exciting for me.
Right.
I think
So maybe it
Microsoft.
will work. I don't know.
I think
Maybe it'll,
Microsoft might just be five head, man.
they might be five head.
They've been playing 4D chess while PlayStation's playing checkers.
You know,
Can't even tell.
they're five head on all things except how to make a console.
Pretty much, or Halo.
Or games.
They still haven't figured out how to make a Halo game.
You
Yeah.
know, Evan, give them time. They'll get there eventually. I mean,
We've
it may
had,
be.
like a decade.
I know.
Close to that. I mean, shit.
But this game better be good because it's going to be around for 10 years apparently. So
Right.
Yeah, that
Right.
did not film.
better
it
be
with-
good.
We'll
Well,
see. I'm a skeptic.
It's kind of
I'm
like the
in.
thing
Yeah, me
with
too.
GTA 5, how we've had that literally for like 10 years now,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is, I mean, of all the things, I think it was the first PS5 showcase they opened up with GTA 5 and adding stuff. And I was just like,
Yeah.
why? Who
Yeah.
Listen, I get it if you're still playing GTA 5 because it's a great game to play and it's great to play with friends, especially online. And they keep funneling stuff into the online. But eventually, Rockstar has to make a new GTA. Like, there comes a
True.
point where we can't just have, like, and with the PS6, we got GTA 5 remastered for the 7th time.
Well, yeah. Though they are going to make it though. They it's been announced, but they also made Red Dead. So like
Yeah.
that was the kind of buffer thing. But you're right. I mean, the fact that there's still like I think it's crazy that it's still so lucrative.
Mhm.
Like they
Yeah.
still are like I would understand if it had like a high player count just because it's GTA, right? It's the most
Right.
recent GTA, but the fact that it's still making so much money is really wild.
Well, I
I'm
think that
surprised
just
so many people still play GTA 5.
Well-
I mean, shit.
exactly that just speaks to how good GTA 5 is, especially the online mode. Because I think you look at both Red Dead games, and like they have online communities, but I feel like they're mostly dead because like the offerings of a modern day open world game is going to be much better than a Wild West open world online game.
Yeah.
And that's just because of the
Right.
things like, oh, we're going to put in the Diamond Casino and you're going to go in and you're going to, play blackjack with your friends and spin the wheel and win cars. And then in Red Dead, you're like, oh, I'm going to go play the knife game for a little bit.
Right, but in Red Dead, you can be like fucking desperados with your buddies.
You can be desperados or you can rob a bank in GTA 5.
You can rob a bank in Red Dead.
Well, right, but you know what I'm saying. Like, would you rather...
Heists. and
No, I
stuff.
don't. Fucking explain it to me.
Okay, would you rather ride your horse into a wooden bank and put your gun up and go, hey, give me the money? Or would you rather go through a whole heist where you have to get a plan, get people, sneak in, take out cameras? It's much more involved and it draws the players in.
Yeah, but if you play Red Dead and you can like ride a horse in and fucking kidnap people and throw them on train tracks and shit.
But
That's pretty fun.
Can you ride
Kill
a
a whole town.
skateboard? Okay, I can ride a skateboard in GTA 5. I
Can
can
you?
be Tony
You
Hawk.
fly a jet into a horse.
Hey, there we go.
Can you ride horses in GTA 5? Is that the only thing you can't
Yeah.
ride?
Yeah, I think that's probably the only thing.
There you go.
I
Red
don't
Dead
know, maybe you
wins.
can.
Red Dead
I don't know.
fucking wins.
Well, that's when you
Booyah.
get the modders in and they just throw in horses.
Yeah.
God. When we get the next GTA game, I'll be interested to see how they can increase the scope of these games because they already have so much in GTA 5. Like how do you go bigger from there?
Yeah.
I have an idea.
So I don't even know. Yeah.
Add in rideable horses.
That's all
Yeah.
you need. As
all you
long as I can put a saddle on my horse and ride it down the highway, like that's all that matters. That's all a man needs in life. Moving to our out of this world topic that I hinted at in the description last week, have both of you boys watched the Mandalorian trailer?
Yes, I
I
have.
have.
Yeah, and what are your guys' thoughts from the trailer? Not that it shows a ton, but from the little bit it does show.
I am very happy with what I saw. Well, I actually just watched it yesterday, so maybe I need more time to process. But I
Right.
from what I saw, I'm pretty hyped, and
Hmm.
so I can explain why after Evans his
Well,
take.
I saw it about I think 30 minutes ago. And I mean, I came out feeling, I guess, pretty neutral about it. I mean, I think it looks good, but at the same time, I don't like. It's gonna sound snobbish. I don't like making opinions before I've actually seen the season.
That is
No,
fair.
I think it is definitely fair.
I mean, we've all been through the Game of Thrones and Westworld trains, so we.
Yeah,
Right. I think those kind of destroyed me to a point where I just
Right.
didn't get excited for a trailer anymore.
definitely.
But I didn't see anything I disliked.
Hmm.
I'll say that much. And I did like a couple scenes there that were pretty cool. I like that we're getting involved with the Jedi now.
Hmm.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, you know, being that I'm a pretty big Star Wars nerd, I have to say there was some things that really stood out to me in the trailer that I really am excited for. And the first thing is that I'm almost certain that um, the planet Ilum was in the trailer.
I thought so as
And
well.
yeah, and that's just awesome. Like to be able to see that on the like in live action with such a high
Right.
budget
Yeah.
is going to be super awesome. And then the other thing is there's actually now that I think about it, a lot of these things that I'm excited for just involve like exploring the Star Wars universe in live action. But
Hmm.
anyways, they're going to that other planet, the calamari planet
Oh,
with but there's the other species is also there. I'm
right.
forgetting the name, but
Is
that's
it
awesome.
just called Moncala? I think
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're right. And yeah, that is so. I'm so excited to see that.
Maybe Disney can finally do Admiral Akbar some justice and put him in on Moncala doing something. Because, I mean, as we all hate the sequels, one of my biggest
Yeah.
gripes with the sequels is how they treated Admiral Akbar.
Yep. I didn't think about that. That would be. Yeah, because Mandalorian takes place after the original trilogy, right? And then
Correct.
before the.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be. I would love that. I would really really love that. And
His
oh, go ahead.
that was just gonna be a joke. I was gonna say his final line in the show can be, "I hope I
Oh
don't
no.
fucking die off screen in some stupid death."
I hope I don't die and watch Leia force pull herself out of space as
Oh my
Yeah,
I'm
so
god.
just
anybody
dying.
anybody watching right now, if you love the sequels, very sorry. None of us are fans.
I don't think I
Oh,
don't, I
no.
don't think it's possible to actually no, never mind, Evan. You know someone who loves the sequels, so
Yeah,
And there are a lot of
unfortunately.
I think it's about 50-50. I
that's
mean,
so crazy.
I'd say it's about
Oh
50.
Because
my
I
god.
mean, maybe we're living through what original trilogy fans thought after watching the prequels a little bit, but the prequels don't do
I'm sure.
anything that disgraces Star Wars.
I wouldn't.
Well, people would
Depends on
Yeah,
probably
your
disagree with that.
definition. Depends on your definition.
People would probably disagree.
maybe
Depends on your
maybe I
definition.
think of that because of how
Midi-
much they've done with the prequels
I'd
since they
say
Yeah.
came out.
if you saw the first prequel, I think people would be making an argument how like fucking midichlorians
The metachlorian thing is the first thing I
Yeah,
thought of.
like a
Yeah.
fucking
I
terrible thing.
mean,
But
if
yeah,
metachlorians is the biggest like
I totally agree.
disgrace to come from the prequels, then it's
Yeah.
like that's a super tiny
Well, and
thing.
I'd say here's another thing. Other than the third movie, because a lot of people do love the third movie, I think the third movie is good.
Mhm.
Other than the third movie, Anakin is. I think people might make an argument how Anakin's a disgrace to Darth Vader's character, because I think in the
Oh, because he's whiny and stuff, and like
well,
kind of, and then Darth Vader's like
right, he's like such a badass, and
one of the most
Right.
important villains
and
in history. So
yeah, and like in the second movie, because like in the first movie, Anakin's character and development towards Darth Vader can you even fucking count anything that happens in that movie as
no,
like
I don't
development
think
towards
so.
that. It's the second movie, and it's in that movie where he's like, he's just like a whiny little asshole, and you
But
can't.
True.
It's hard
Evan,
to
we
empathize
get the
with
most
him.
important, like, defining thing about Darth Vader, and it's that he hates
He doesn't
sand.
like. Yeah, of
Okay,
course.
I
He
mean,
hates sand.
we're talking
I
about.
love.
No wonder he hates Tatooine. You know.
Yeah.
All right, opinion. Do you think Padme is like a borderline pedophile?
What?
Uh,
It's so hard because even though she looks way older than Anakin in the first movie, I don't think they're supposed to be that much different, really, in age.
well, when they actually
think.
get together, how old is he?
I don't fucking
Well,
know.
you know, that's a good question. I don't.
Well,
Age is kind of a weird thing in Star Wars, you know?
Right, that's always been fucky. But I've heard the opinion it's less about like how old they are near the end. It's that she saw him grow up from a child, and so that perspective makes it weird that she
Right.
eventually like decided to bone him.
But, I mean, Evan, how are you supposed to turn down someone who looks you right in the eyeballs and says, I don't like sand? I mean, come on.
Or you know,
He is the
Oh,
chosen one after
he is
all.
the chosen.
I
I
Yeah,
mean, he
mean,
that's
tells
a
you that
fact.
he killed
much hype.
everybody, the women and children too. I mean, fuck, how can you fall for a guy after he says he's a murderer?
I
I actually
mean,
love that scene.
you know, maybe Padme likes her men a little rough, okay? A little rough around the edges.
Rough like the
Not-
sand that he hates.
You know.
He
Yeah.
gets everywhere too.
Um, yeah, but you know, going back to the your topic, I don't think that the prequels is nearly as disrespectful as the sequels because
Yeah.
they're all new characters besides Obi-Wan and
Right.
Yoda,
And I
and
mean,
they're all done justice.
right.
So,
Well, at least by the
like,
third movie they are.
uh,
And I
yeah, at
think
least
the
by the
biggest,
you're right. At least by the third movie,
I
and I guess
think-
Dark Vader too.
Right. And I think the biggest complaint I had, at least towards the prequels, weren't that they were like offensive. It's just that they were, for the most part, kind of fucking boring.
That's what I was
Just
going
not
to
much
say.
happened.
I mean, you watch the first two films, and other than
Pointless.
like the Darth Maul fight, it's just a lot of it's a lot of politics, and that
Well-
could be good, but they just don't do it well.
That's the first film for sure, but I think the second film gets a bad rap because it's kind of nonstop, just like stuff going on. I mean, you have
Mhm.
the Obi-Wan versus Jango Fett fight, which is
Right.
awesome. You have the giant Jedi battle with all the Geonosians and the droids, and then you have the clone troopers getting introduced, and then you have the battle between Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Count Dooku.
Right.
And I'm trying to remember what the beginning.
Well, that's the part where Padme is like targeted by an assassin,
Oh, the
and
assassin,
Obi-Wan
yeah,
jumps
and
out the
changeling.
window, like the chatty is.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous, but it's also, I mean, like as a kid, that's sick.
It's a fun moment.
right.
I mean,
yeah.
maybe I have to watch the second movie again because I just remember that being such a fucking like pain.
well,
Because it was just
People
like,
hate this episode too. People
because
people
it's
think it's the
like-
worst one.
well, because I might be. Well, I don't know if it's the worst. To me, it's a hard choice between first and second. I do remember really not liking the second one because I remember at the end I was thinking like, what even of import, like actually even fucking happened? We got the clones. That's about fucking it. Nothing from the third
Yeah.
movie that carries over from the second movie. You could pretty much watch the third movie and just get told like, so they found clones from a guy named Jexter Dexter in the fucking diner. Tell them about it.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
that's all you need to know. Here you go. And you.
Dude, that guy's a
kind of
Chad, though.
set. I think it's fucking hilarious. That's hilarious.
He's the ultimate forearm Chad.
Listen, I think I would watch it like just a whole movie about him running his fast food place. His little diner.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
The special
just-
episodes are when Obi-Wan comes in.
Right. Well, I was going to say like halfway through the movie, Obi-Wan comes in, and it's just like their discussion from episode 2. Like so, it just ties in perfectly.
Right. And at the end, he's assassinated by Sith spies for revealing his
Ooh.
secrets.
Listen, why didn't Clone Wars take the chance to put that man in? Can we talk about that?
Basically, yeah. What a sham.
I
He
mean,
basically
listen.
started the Clone Wars.
Right. Well, I mean, you get directed somewhere by a key figure like that, and never show him again. Honestly, that's a big plot hole.
I'm pretty sure
a big gripe.
pretty
Yeah,
sure
it makes
Jax-
no sense.
I'm pretty sure Jexter Dexter's a fucking Sith Lord. That's how we know.
Oh my god,
It's
he's
obvious.
what's his race? Because isn't the one
The
Jedi
asshole.
who oh, what is his name?
The guy who sacrificed all those clones.
You're
'cause
talking
he
about in the
Right.
Clone Wars?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that guy.
because yeah,
He's been disenfranchised.
That's his brother. That's how he knew.
I don't remember what they're called, but
That was a great. That was great. Was that a two-parter or was that just one episode?
I think that
it
was
was like a three. Like
yeah,
one
I was
and
gonna say
two.
3 or 4.
Fuck.
Like
Well,
it was a good
Might have been
arc.
3.
Yeah, it was good series. The clone shit in Clone Wars was top
Amazing.
tier.
Top
Well,
tier for
you know,
sure.
the Clone Wars is honestly what makes the prequel so great because Episode 3 is my favorite Star Wars movie, but it doesn't change the fact that without the Clone Wars, the prequels are kind of weak in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
reason the prequels, because people compare the sequels and prequels, is like, you guys are just acting, that fucking comparison. I think part of what made the prequels, like, people have softened up towards them over the years is because it provided a good base for people to build off of
Yeah.
as years went on. Because now
Right.
people associate the prequels and shit with all this fucking lore and this extended universe crap that people adored
Yeah.
before Disney
And
erased it.
then right, and then you're right. And then the sequels, the whole like the premise that supports the prequels is very solid, and it's because it was thought out from the beginning. You know, it tells
Right.
the whole story. The whole concept has come straight from George's mind, and it's really interesting and cool. But then you get to the sequels, and it's like rehashed, and then you have like stuff that's made to be
Just fucking fan
in
service.
opposition. Well,
Garbage.
I was gonna get to that. Well, you have both. You have the stuff that's extreme fan service, and then you have the stuff that's extreme like opposition to the fans. Like it's all
Right.
there.
And out comes pretty much nothing fucking worth anything.
yeah,
Right.
it's just ridiculous. And the premise behind the sequels is just ridiculous because they didn't think it through. It's so obvious that they had no real plan.
Right. Well, you
And
know,
so it's like imagine. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know, it's a serious problem when like their way of establishing the sequels is by taking an established character and turning them on their head, like making
Yeah.
Luke the complete opposite of how he would actually be. Especially if you've
Mhm.
read anything about the EU as it was before Disney took over. It's like Luke would never be like that, but we're going to make him like that because it fits our narrative.
Well, they can't even have the decency to show us how he became like that because we have no
Right.
fucking context. He just is, and we're like, and like the only defense I hear is like, well, he's old. A lot of times pass. It's like, okay, why do you? Okay, so you say that. Why do people change as they age? Why is that associated with age?
Right.
Because things happen to you as you get older, and that changes your perspective. We have no context
Yeah,
for what
but
happened to Luke. You can't
people-
just say he's older. I don't fucking change automatically as I age. That's not how that works.
Well, people would
Stuff happens.
probably argue about like maybe they would say stuff about like Kylo Ren and like how that has affected him, but I think that's
No, before
that
then.
point in itself is even
He
ridiculous.
changed before then
that
because he
whole-
tried to fucking kill his nephew.
No, you're right though. That's what I'm saying because I think people would say I wouldn't say this, but I think people would maybe
Right.
bring up the Kylo Ren that whole event.
Like
but
that's the
what I was
catalyst.
what I was gonna say is exactly what you said is well that catalyst doesn't make sense anyways
Right.
because he is already changed if he was going to do that. So it's like But
But
it's like,
the
okay.
argument against that is of why he almost tried to kill his his like few family members is the defense is like, oh, he had a moment of weakness. I'm like, oh wow, isn't that fucking
Great.
convenient?
Well, it's like, yeah, he had a moment of weakness, but like, is there anything that would, make him have this moment of weakness? Because, by the end of episode 6, he's looking pretty strong. He looks
Can
like
we
he's
just
like
at least
mentally
have a
sound.
scene? Can we at least have a scene where on the day he tries to kill his nephew, he's like taking like a shot of whiskey, and so he's
Right.
like not totally there. He's like, oh man, I'm feeling a bit woozy.
He's just like,
yeah,
he's chugging the blue milk, like
Right,
2 jugs
right.
in.
a little too many death sticks.
Yeah.
And then he just
like he
Luke
just got
became
back
an-
from the fucking strip joint, and he's just like, oh man, dude, I'm feeling pretty fucking out of it right now. Hope I don't kill my nephew tonight.
Yeah.
At least something. Shit.
Well, also, like, it's obvious that Luke still has some sort of connection with the Force Ghost. So we're really going to say, like, Obi-Wan or Yoda's Force Ghost didn't pop up in that moment and be like, whoa,
Really?
hey, wait a second here.
Yeah. Why didn't fucking his dad come out and just like say like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I like how we have to just assume that after he tried to kill his nephew and the Jedi Temple got destroyed and all that shit, no Force Ghost talked to him
It's
at
like,
all.
dude, you really screwed up.
They
Right.
fucking, even though in the OT
Yeah.
they talk to him all the time. Yoda, I mean, well, Obi-Wan was chilling with Yoda on fucking Naboo,
Right.
just like fucking. Was
Well,
that?
Look at this
that was,
idiot.
I think what's obvious is a Force Ghost did appear, except it was Mace Windu, and he was like, "This is why Skywalkers aren't masters," and then just disappeared,
Oh,
never to be seen again.
So, were we gonna talk more about the Mandalorian?
Yeah, so we got way into
Yeah, I was
Star
like,
Wars
man,
talk, you know.
yeah, we're
But
getting deep.
I think one thing I'm very excited for with the Mandalorian is the simple prospect that we could have Ahsoka and Rex show up, because it's already established canon that Rex was the old guy on Endor. So I mean, Rex is still out there; he's fighting along, and
when you say old guy on Endor,
in Return of the Jedi, there's an old bearded guy who somewhat resembles old Captain Rex that you see in Rebels. And so what Disney has done is just went ahead and said that old guy who looks like Captain Rex was Captain Rex.
I have to look it up because I have.
It's actually
been
pretty
a long
awesome.
time since
Yeah.
I've seen Return of the Jedi.
He does look he does look, pretty similar to Captain Rex. So
Right.
it's awesome. It's awesome that they did that.
And that's why I have such like a love-hate relationship with what Disney has done with Star Wars, because they've had some really great moments in terms of like Rebels is very childlike, but when you look at Rebels as a whole, Rebels is very good and it really respects the characters they got from Clone Wars.
Yep. Yeah,
And
they
Rebels,
made
so
the
I've seen-
sequels, but they also made the Mandalorian, and
Right.
they finished
Let's
the
let's
Clone
not
Wars, even though they
listen.
also ended the Clone Wars.
Here's the thing
It's like,
about when you say stuff like that is that you can put Disney, you can put that umbrella over fucking everything. I don't think I'd say Disney gave us Mandalorian. I think what was his name?
John
Fucking
Favreau.
John Favreau.
John
He did.
Favreau gave
Yeah, you're
us
right.
Mandalorian, and then Kathleen
Right.
Kennedy gave us the sequel. To
No, you're
Shit.
right.
Yeah.
Honestly, totally agree.
Disney just provided them the platform to do so.
Disney
And-
just bought the
Pretty much.
license, so
They were like, "Hey,
whatever.
this works. We can use this.
they-
We can squeeze it dry
Yeah.
a little bit."
We can squeeze it a bit.
Yeah.
Squeeze all the blue milk out of it.
But
That fucking scene. Go on. I was gonna go off
no,
topic.
you go ahead. You go ahead. You finish this thought with blue milk.
I was gonna say I remember seeing a video where a guy literally said that the cow blue milk thing was one of his favorite additions.
Oh, to
It's a
episode
Star Wars
8, yeah.
Oh my god.
No,
Just blue milk
to the
in
Star Wars
general?
universe. No, the cow thing itself
Like the
Oh,
thing
from
that Luke
episode eight.
physically presses
Yeah.
against.
and milk.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's one of his favorite additions to the Star
mine
Wars
too.
universe.
Do you think it's because that guy like bought a
Like-
body pillow of that thing and is just like,
Dude,
on it at all times?
I don't
I
know,
was-
man. I don't know. That's when you red pill a bit too hard.
You know,
You're a bit too
Evan,
woke.
I think you're pushing the question away a little bit, avoiding it because maybe you have that body pillow. Is that what's going on here?
No, but I do have about 20 gallons of blue milk that I'd rather not anyone.
Right.
Yeah, I just sit in it for a bit, then I put it back in the barrel to be used again.
Yeah. I'm getting back to the Mandalorian. I'm also interested to see a little more about the Dark Saber and how it actually fell into the hands of is it Moff Gideon?
Yeah.
Is that the guy's name?
Moff Gideon, yeah.
Yeah. Because at the end of Rebels, the one Mandalorian girl has it.
Guess he killed her.
I mean, did they? Because I'm pretty sure she goes off with Ahsoka to look for Ezra at
Guess
the
he
end
killed
of
them
Rebels.
both.
Because I'd be interested to know if we get Ezra as well. Because while Ezra is far from my favorite, like Star Wars character,
Mhm.
that'd be kind of nice. Because I don't hate him.
When does Rebels? Because I haven't seen all of Rebels actually. I've
Mhm.
seen some, but when does it actually end in like the
So-
timeline?
I'm pretty sure it ends like the last season makes a jump to being coinciding with the events of Return of the Jedi, Because I
Oh,
think
really?
they're like the planet that the show starts out on, it gets taken over, right? And I'm pretty sure the last episode is they're, they're saving that town, getting the Imperials out of there, and Ezra can do his force thing where he calls like space whales.
What?
Yeah, that's just you'd have to watch. He can call space whales. It's
Okay,
just kind of a
I
thing.
get it. Yeah.
But
No, I
he
know.
saves the town and all his friends. But to do that, he has to like get inside one of the space whales because they can like jump to
I need to see this
hyperspeed.
episode now.
Um, but but it ends with it being ambiguous whether he survived or not. And Ahsoka and the one girl are like, "Hey, we're gonna go look for him."
Okay, so maybe okay, because I was just thinking about like how in Rogue One they like hint at the Black Dark Saber. I mean, and
Well, also, I'm pretty sure it's either in Rogue One, or actually maybe it's in the sequels that the Rebel ship shows up.
oh, you mean like the actual ship from
Yeah,
Rebels? Yeah. Yeah.
actually, I think it is in Rogue One because they even say you see the droid from Rebels, and you also see the Twi'lek captain,
Oh, okay.
or
So
you hear her name, I should say. You don't see
did
her.
she get the Dark Saber from the Empire? Is that what
No,
happened?
they so the Dark Saber, there's like a whole arc where I'm pretty sure the Dark Saber is owned by some people, like some Mandalorians, and there's a whole
Oh,
arc
okay.
where she like frees her father and
Well,
gets the
so
Dark Saber for it.
I guess that whole thing with like the Dark Saber, like data that they find on the in Rogue One is just kind of like doesn't really matter actually because
Well, there's also another thing. I think it's
thought there might have been a
from
connection, but
like the Thrawn trilogy from the EU. There was a ship um, that also may have been called something like the Dark Saber. That was
that's
God,
cool.
I can't remember all about it, but so it could be about the actual Dark Saber from like Clone Wars or that ship from the EU.
Okay, but yeah, I'm also excited for that though. Um, I love that they're tying in all this stuff from actual good Star Wars content. Like Clone
Right.
Wars. I mean, it's
Yeah,
awesome. It's great. That's what they should do.
unlike the
It's
fucking
awesome.
movies, we get some actual good Star Wars content
It's great.
reference.
I feel like the Mandalorian is like a saving grace for me.
Right.
I feel like if the Mandalorian didn't exist, people would be rioting. They'd be like wanting Disney to just get their hands on Star
Yeah,
Wars.
Right. I
yeah.
mean, the other than the Mandalorian, the only other really good thing they've done is that final season of Clone Wars.
That is the only
Yeah,
good thing because even the
yeah.
comics aren't good. I mean, they're not terrible, but
Right.
like they're not. They don't go anywhere,
Mm. I
And
think the only good comic maybe I've seen is their current Darth Vader run they're doing.
yeah, that one's actually that was pretty good. So,
But I think with looking at the Mandalorian in this next season, the only thing I might be a little worried about is kind of finding out what they're going to do, like because there's that scene in the one episode of season one where it's like the sniper they go after and it feels like a filler episode, and it ends with you being like, oh, was that just another Mandalorian who showed up, or is that Boba Fett? So Boba Fett, if he's in it, would be cool. I'm interested to see where they go with that, though.
Oh wait, yeah, I guess Boba Fett
I
survived technically.
Well, we don't
guarantee
know.
I
thought,
guarantee you that Boba Fett's gonna be in it at some point. Like,
Mhm.
and I also don't know how I feel about that. I think if he's, I don't even if he's I mean, definitely if he's just like a minor role, like just like cameo sort of things, a little part,
Right.
I would definitely be fine with that. Like, why? Who cares? But if he's like an actual important character, I don't know how I feel about that.
I feel like
Because
if
it
they're
seems
gonna
like it's
use
stealing the thunder from
right,
the Mandalorian. So.
but
Yeah.
I feel like if they're gonna use Boba Fett, they're definitely gonna make him a major character.
Yeah,
I
you're probably
think
right about that.
a good way they could do it is have it be that Moff Gideon hired Boba Fett.
Yep, a good
Yeah.
way to do it.
And, that's and then you don't have to have him in a ton of episodes.
Okay.
Just
Right.
like maybe
Reoccurring,
3.
though.
But he can be like the Mandalorian's rival. The guy
Right.
is like they're equals in every
Okay.
way, and they gotta
I
fight
mean,
each
that
other.
would be kind of cool, honestly. I gotta admit, I think I would like that a lot, if you put it like that.
Do you think they're going to bring another IG-88 droid in?
I hope not.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
not either.
I mean,
Because
not because I didn't like the first one, because I did, but because it would
It'd feel
feel like
cheap.
why? Like
Right.
not in a major way. Like if they just because there's obviously IG droids out there, so like, but
just
it
not
feels
that
like
specific one.
Well,
Like
definitely
they
not.
can't bring back Takai Waititi to voice another IG droid.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, no, that I'm definitely not with that.
I was gonna say something about. Fuck, the IG droid distracted me. I was gonna say
I'm
something
sorry.
about.
IG droids are
about
kind
the-
of
the-
distracting.
Oh right. No, I remember what I was gonna say. I hope they don't show the Mandalorian's fucking face again.
You
Stop that
don't want to
shit.
see Oberyn Martell rocking the Mandalorian
I
look?
got no problems with Oberyn, but I think it was kind of they shot their load a bit too quickly there by showing him at the end of the season. I feel like they should have said. I know Oberyn. Well, I know what you're probably gonna say because I've heard the rumor. Too.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Okay, go ahead.
But let me just finish this because I feel like the only reason they did show it because I feel like that's something that's really important because they made such an emphasis on not showing his face.
Mm-hmm.
They even had that one episode where he took off his helmet in that village. He's like, I only take it off to eat, and you see him take it off, but you don't see his face.
Right.
I think they had such an emphasis on that. I feel like the only good moment to use that for is like basically at the end where because I'm assuming it's gonna kind of
beaten.
well I'm assuming the end is gonna be along the lines of like he gives baby Yoda away to like these people who he knows could take care of him, and as they say their final goodbye he like takes off his helmet and they like look at each other in the eyes because that's like
right,
and it comes
And then
across
they
as a
kiss.
moment. Well, I was gonna
and
say
then we change genres completely.
I was gonna say it becomes like a moment of intimacy, as if like there's no barriers
Right.
like, between them.
Yeah,
know?
like he's
They're, like
actually his son.
yeah, they're like really
whatever.
close, and he wants him to see his real face, before they go.
That would be
But-
cool.
Mhm.
But the only reason I think they did it in that first season for that really innocuous scene is because it probably was the actor complaining that you didn't get to see his face, and now this leads into what you're about to bring up, Aaron.
Yeah, because I've heard these rumors that basically there's been like a lot of drama with him not wanting to keep his helmet on and wanting to show his face more. And apparently it's been such a big deal that he actually like quit, I guess. And then I got in the middle of making this recent season.
Right.
Well,
And,
from what I heard, he was kind of forced to leave.
yeah, because they told him basically leave.
So what ended up
Being such,
happening-
like,
What happened is he complained to Dave Filoni. He's like, "I want to show more of my face," and Dave's like, "I'm sorry, we did it once. We can't keep doing it."
Right.
And so he's
Right.
like, "Well, fuck you guys. I'm going straight to the top." And so he goes to fucking Disney.
Yeah.
and complains.
right.
And
Jesus.
so then they say like, I assume they say something along the lines of like, "Go fuck yourself." And Dave figures out that this happens. Like,
Surprising.
okay, well, if you're gonna be fucking around like this, then you can just leave. You
Right.
can get out of here.
Yeah,
And
that's
so-
what like apparently him and the creative guys were. Yeah, they were basically just like, well, I mean, if you're not gonna do it, then like you're done. Like that's
keep
the
throwing a
job.
fit about it.
So
If you don't keep throwing a fit and try to get us in trouble, you can leave.
it's
Right.
You know,
Well,
I can
especially-
understand it, but it's like, dude, there's worse things. I mean, you
Yeah.
have
Right.
like from think about it, like in Star Trek or like Data and Worf having to wear. Okay, I don't know. Maybe it is really bad having to wear the suit. I have no idea. It could be terrible.
the
but I
thing
just
is,
doubt it.
though, is that Pedro Pascal isn't even in the suit most of the time. At least when filming season 1, they had like the stunt doubles in the
Really?
suit for almost every scene, and then
Oh
he
my
just
God.
recorded voice lines. So,
Well,
I mean, Pedro Pascal is the voice of the character and the face when the mask comes off, but for most of the scenes, he's not the one actually in the suit shooting it.
well, I assume it's not that he doesn't like to shoot the scenes. I think it's more that he's probably afraid that after Mandalorian's over, no one's gonna know what he looks like. So like,
Yeah, that too.
you know what I mean? No one knows his face. How are you gonna get
Right.
acting jobs and be like, look, it's this famous guy from the Mandalorian, and you're like, who?
I mean, to be fair,
That's
You didn't see
stupid.
his
I think
fucking
you're
face.
right. I think you're right about that, but I also think that's ridiculous. Like,
Right.
because the only reason I said what I said about the suit is because I think I read something. Maybe it was complete assumption, but that's the only reason why I had that in my head about him not wanting to wear the suit. But honestly, like the Mandalorian is already so big and popular. Like, dude, everyone is gonna know what
Right.
you look like. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is like the
Well,
most important Star Wars thing that's happened in a very long time. Pretty sure you're good.
also, Evan, if your thinking is right with Pedro Pascal, then he would just like that'd be so insane because not only can he be like, I was in Game of Thrones and had this super memorable character and all these memorable scenes, but he can also be like, I'm in the new Wonder Woman movie. I'm the villain. Like, I have these two huge roles. You can go see my face and see that I'm an accomplished actor.
Yeah, I would think I would be
I
maybe
don't
more
know.
worried about being like typecasted or something. I don't even know.
Right.
Like, what
Yeah.
would you even be worried about?
I don't know. I feel like that's more believable than him just being like he doesn't like being in the suit. I think that's because there are definitely actors would be like that.
Right.
That's what I
Yeah,
think. So that's
maybe
what I
he's
think.
just like stuck up or something. I don't want to
Yeah.
assume anything about him.
Well,
Right.
yeah, of course. Well, it comes down to this is just a fucking rumor. So like,
True, it might not even. It's probably true,
might
but it might not be true.
right. I think it's probably true, but we have no fucking evidence either way. Just my gut feeling.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah,
but I mean, if it is true, I think that's probably the reason. He's probably thinking about, oh, I want to be known and famous more than I am now. And Mandalorian's a good show. Because here's the thing. He's a super memorable character in Game of Thrones, and he has a role. I'm assuming a bit. I haven't really even heard anything about him in Wonder Woman, but Mandalorian, he's the main fucking character.
Right.
He wants to. I could see the perspective that he wants to really use that. Like those other roles are good, but this is like the one that could really launch him.
Right.
So he wants to utilize it.
Well, it's like, did he going in? Did he understand that it would be mostly a voice acting job? Like, did he go in thinking he'd be like the leading star, the Han Solo of the show, and then finds out that most of the time he's just going to be recording lines, and then gets
I mean,
one moment in
you
the
know, I could see
yeah.
him
Maybe
knowing
you're
that.
right about that.
I could see him going in there knowing that, but maybe not just thinking that it was going to be that big of a role. He
right.
just thought it was going to be like not a big
Who
deal.
knows?
And then it did. There's a lot of assumptions you could make
Hmm.
about it.
How long do you guys think we'll have to wait until we finally get that Obi-Wan series?
Forever.
I don't. You know, I mean, it is. Is it in production yet?
I mean, there's still. I think all we have for sure is that Ewan McGregor is for sure going to do it. Like he's signed on with Disney, but that they had to rewrite the script because they weren't happy with the first script that was given.
They had to rewrite it.
Yeah, they're rewriting it.
We all know Disney's all about their quality.
No, that's not good.
I think it might have been Ewan McGregor who wasn't happy
Yeah.
with it.
Well, hopefully they are now.
So
I could see that.
I don't
McGregor
think
not
any
being happy.
filming has started, but there's plenty of rumors that haven't been confirmed but reported by multiple outlets
right,
that
that-
like Hayden Christensen is signed on to be a part of it. Which I mean, you know what?
Yeah, that is.
That would be a big deal to me because I think
I would love
more than likely a lot of his problems in the prequels are just that's how George wanted the character played.
Maybe.
No, I do agree with that. I think. Well, I don't think that.
I need to
It's
know
a
more about it.
I think. Well, George is not a good director.
Yeah.
He's not a good
Yeah.
director. He's really bad, like honestly. And so I mean, I'm not gonna totally defend the acting, but I do think it's not totally his fault.
I'm not sure
It's George.
because there are tons of other actors in those films that do fine.
Well, I mean, you're right.
The only one that really sticks out is bad.
But also, you look at some of Hayden
I think
Christensen's
Padme is pretty bad.
other work.
That's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
I think. I mean, it could be a mix of both.
And-
His acting
and
and
Sidious
how
is kinda
George
not great.
was. Well,
Just say
I think.
fucking. Oh wait, Sidious. Is he Palpatine?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Palpatine.
Palpatine.
You don't fucking dare say that.
I just said it's. I mean, I love it. I love all of it, but
Well, I think
Yeah.
George literally walked in and was like, "Just do whatever you want for Palpatine."
that is what happened.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened to everyone, really. That's the only why. Yeah, but that's why I'm not going to defend him because that did happen, I think, and I think he did. Anakin was still bad, so
Have you guys seen the funny clip? I think it's in the first or second movie where uh, Samuel is talking to George Lucas, and he's just like, "So, can I have a purple lightsaber?"
Yeah,
And George is just like, I think I can make that happen."
yeah, that's awesome.
And then he just has this huge smile, like Samuel does.
Have you seen that
Isn't that-
video where it's this animated video? It's the scene where they're telling Anakin he is a master but isn't allowed on the or he's allowed on the council but he's not a Jedi master. And Anakin just gets pissed and starts making fun of Yoda not being able to fucking speak correctly.
Yeah,
No, I have not seen that.
Something really awesome. Like, I don't know if I'm the only one who feels this way, but like, it's Samuel L. Jackson, right? And he's, anytime you see him in a movie, it's like, oh, that's Samuel,
Right.
But in the prequels, it's like the only time where I can like separate him really from like him from the character. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but it's like only that
I kind of get what you mean.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, because I
maybe
think
it's because
he
I grew up
acts,
with it or something. I don't know. Like,
well, but it's probably because I think he acts so differently. Because like in other
Mhm.
Samuel roles, he has a persona where he's like he swears a lot and he's like the badass and whatever.
Yeah.
But in prequels, he's like totally different. He's like kind of mellow. He's supposed to be
yeah,
like
he
a
actually
refined.
plays a
Yeah, he plays a fucking character, and he's
Yeah.
like a refined Jedi master. You know what I mean?
He was
it's-
the
I
only
think
yeah.
that
No, you're
helps a
right. I
lot.
think.
Yeah. He's the only one who came in, and George was like, "You know what? You don't get to do whatever you want. You're gonna do this." And he was like, "Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess I can do that. I guess. Just got to give me a purple lightsaber first, or I'm quitting the movie."
Yeah. So glad he did that though, because it really expanded so
Yeah.
much from that. Like, so much lore actually came from that, which is hilarious. But it's great. I mean, think about it. Right now, we're going to Ilum in the Mandalorian, and that would probably have never happened if he didn't want a purple lightsaber. So I might be wrong about that. Maybe it was already established, but I don't think it was. So.
You know, if it is Ilum, are we gonna see some construction signs of like this like planet destroyer going on?
Are you talking about?
Are you
Oh,
talking
you're
about?
talking about like the Starkiller Base, how they harvested.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe. Well, apparently I didn't catch this, but apparently there was a Fallen Order reference in the trailer with like with Ilum, I think.
Wow. You know, that wouldn't be a hard thing to cross over into the Mandalorian because they literally just took whoever the actor is who plays the main character in Fallen Order, like literally just exactly like him. They just made him the character. So it wouldn't be that hard to just cast him and bring him in.
Yeah. That'd be really cool, honestly. I'd love that.
I'm very interested to see what they could do with like the Star Wars games, and maybe bringing some of them into this larger cinematic Star Wars world. Because even though I'm not going to play Star Wars Squadrons, it looks very good. And also, you look at Fallen Order, and Fallen Order was amazing.
Yeah,
I
it
still
really
have to
was.
play it. I still have
I
to
think
play
that's
it.
why because it seems like they're only really touching things that are like in the immediate like Disney created sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
We need a fucking prequel game. I want to play in the Clone Wars.
oh yeah.
Well,
That's a good.
Sure.
That's like so ripe. Like I mean, they made Battlefront shit, but we need like.
Well,
I
Evan,
need-
there
I
is a
love
Clone Wars PS3 game.
There was a Clone Wars game I played on the Sega like Saturn, and it was amazing.
What?
It was dude. It was. I love that game. I really do. It was like a third person. Like, it was so good. It was so good.
I had a Star Wars game where it was like one of those plug and play games, and like the plug and
Already a good start.
and it was like the little ball droid that Luke fights in the train.
The droideka, or no, the training thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it shoots
yeah.
lasers at him. He has to close his eyes. That was like the thing you like had to turn on and shit. And you also
Oh my
had
god, I had this.
a midget lightsaber.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
And you plug it in, turn on the TV, and you can fight through little levels where you fight droids and shit. And then at the end, you get to fight characters from the prequels, and you could fight
wow.
fucking Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn and I don't know who else you get to fight because I always fucking lost at Darth Maul, and he kicked my ass every single time.
Yeah.
But that was fun as shit.
You know, one of
Because you actually waved around the lightsaber and had to block shit. It was fucking sick.
You know, one of my favorite
Yeah,
Star
that's
Wars
awesome.
games was actually on the Wii, and they made a Clone Wars lightsaber dueling game for the Wii, where you would you could fight. I mean, we're talking Kit Fisto, General Grievous, Asajj Ventress, Count Dooku, basically anyone in Clone Wars who had a lightsaber, you could duel them on the Wii. And it was like one of my
Wow.
favorite Wii games to play.
I surprisingly haven't because I've actually played a lot of Star Wars games. Like I was thinking about it before I came on, and I was just like, man, like I was like writing them down because I was like, there's so many I've played, but I think my favorite Star Wars game besides Lego Star Wars, because it's just so good, is a game called Bounty Hunter, and it's where you play as Jango. I played on the GameCube, I think, and you're Jango Fett, and you just you're in the underworld of Coruscant basically, and you're just Jango Fett. Like you can rope people up and like light them on fire. It's so good actually.
I actually have that on my PS4 because they had it for sale, so I just picked it up. Yeah, because I think it was one of their PS1 games that they had just because PlayStation will just have those on the PlayStation Store from time to time. Dude, so I just have it.
Love that. That's a great game. If you haven't played it yet, dude, really play it.
I think one of my favorite games from Star Wars I played was probably Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh,
really good.
Yeah, definitely. That's top tier.
I'm so sad that I never got to play it, but I know so much about it from reading the Old Republic novelizations they've made and watching videos and stuff, that it just makes me sad that I've never had a chance to play it because I know I'd love every second of it.
Yeah, that makes me sad too.
I haven't played through them yet, but I have them, and you know, it's crazy because they're actually so good that they created their whole time period within Star Wars. I mean, it was already there, you know, and there was already stuff, but I mean, they really, I mean, you know, what do you have? You have, prequels, the original trilogy and the sequels, and you also have the Old Republic. I mean, it's its own.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. That's pretty crazy.
Shit.
Do you think? Go ahead, Evan.
I was going to say, because I know they made, after Knights of the Republic 1 and 2, they went and did, what was it called? This online version. I forget what the fuck it's called.
Yeah, the MMO.
Yeah, I think, I've heard some, shit about that. That actually sounds pretty interesting. I just think it's kind of disappointing that you have to buy an MMO. Experience it.
Yeah, well, there's rumors that it's being remade. I don't know. I think it might be confirmed, actually.
Oh,
that'd
fuck.
be so amazing.
Like
I
a
would definitely buy
remaster. That's
that.
why I'm waiting, actually, because I'm pretty sure it's it's been a while since I've looked at it, but it must have been pretty confident that it was going to happen, or else I would have just played them.
It does sound like, because they got some interesting shit in there. You can be a Sith, but who thinks that the Sith are kind of retarded, and they need to change their ways and shit. They need to be a bit more like the Jedi in some manner, and so you kind of change them from the inside. I think they got a lot of cool concepts and shit in there.
Well, you look at the Sith pre Darth Bane, where there's just a ton of them, and they're all vying for the top of the hierarchy. Well, that's such an awesome part of the Old Republic. It's such an essential part.
You had Sith Wars. I mean, those were the big wars before you had the, not the nerd out too hard, but I mean, those were the wars that were galaxy wide. Is the Sith versus the Jedi.
That sounds badass as fuck.
Yeah. So rather than the Separatists versus the Republic, it's I don't know. Yeah, but it's awesome.
Well, Evan, have you seen the clip from? It was actually a trailer for one of the Old Republic expansions where the Sith crash into the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, and a bunch of Sith Lords fight Jedi Masters.
That's sick.
It's such an amazing cinematic.
You know what I might play if they made one?
What?
A Star Wars gacha game. You just have to.
What would they even do in a Star Wars gacha game? You're just sitting there, just oh look, I got Darth Maul this time.
Yeah, then you have to Nah, dude. I could see it now. You fucking use them in events where you can fight other fucking legendary Star Wars characters. You're in the middle of a fucking galaxy-wide war with all the fucking people in
This
there.
is like how
Then you can,
I'm pretty sure there's like a Star Wars like Candy Crush style game where it's like, oh, I put 3 of the Death Stars together, so now Luke can attack extra strong.
Okay, here's what would happen. In each of the missions, you would battle some like fucking people, and you'd have to swipe on the screen and shit to simulate Star Wars battles or some shit,
Uh-huh.
dude. Like lightsabers and whatever.
I'm gonna
Listen,
make a like what's the tapping games on your phone, but it's just you're charging up the Death Star and it blows up a planet.
I'm telling you, dude, if you made this right, it'd be killer. You'd be making millions.
I'm
Evan,
sold.
you and gotcha games are like me and my obsession with Yakuza. I'm just like, but
Talking about?
Yakuza's so good.
I've only played dude. What the fuck are you talking about? I have not played. You
Listen,
can't even compare them.
you're playing one gotcha game, but every time I've talked to you in like the past month, you're like, so I'm playing this gotcha game.
That's not true. That's not true at all.
That's a fact.
That's
It's a
not
fact.
true.
Every time
And you know
I've
what?
seen
And you know what? And you know what? You know what? I can prove it. We recorded our last conversation last week, man. Play it back. Play it back. I
You
didn't
brought it
mention
up.
gotcha
You
games.
brought it up after we finished recording.
You're just a fucking
No,
liar.
no,
You're a
you're-
fucking
you're just
liar.
denying it.
How fucking dare you
You're
do
just
this right now?
denying it.
How dare you?
When
swear to
we
God.
went and saw Tenet on the car ride there, 100% you were just like, gotcha game.
No, no, I didn't.
You can hear
You're
the lies in your voice right now. You can hear it.
I'm laughing
is-
at the gall.
This is like playing. This is
The
like playing LA
audacity.
Noir. I just hit the doubt button. Okay?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude. If this was Among Us, we'd vote you out right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the
Shut you out
imposter.
this big-
Okay.
Yeah, you
Okay.
Because you're lying. You're lying to me. And I can't believe you did this. I'm off the podcast.
You're off the podcast 2 episodes in, and you're like, well, he accused me of playing gotcha games and
I'm no
talking
longer
about them.
making time for you, buddy.
Oh, man,
Damn.
you know what? That's kind of rude. Not making time for a boy anymore. I'm gonna cry.
That's like almost sacrilegious in this
Yeah.
podcast. So.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, now that I'm done making time for you. Looks like we're done making time for this episode.
Oh, that was smooth. That was slick. I'm giving you that one. Did you
Thank you.
win this time? Okay. So yeah, Aaron, thanks for coming on. Thanks for being a part.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was really good. Good time.
And you know what? Thanks to all of you for making time for the boys. I'm happy we got to make time for the boys. And why not tune in next week for more time with the boys? Yeah.
Yeah. This next topic's gonna blow your mind.
Oh, yeah.